Everything you learned in history class was a lie. Well, maybe not everything, but they skipped the best parts. Introducing Stupiracy, where stupidity meets conspiracy. Ever heard of the Olympic marathon that nearly killed its runners? Or the time a pope put another pope's corpse on trial? Join me, Scott Rizzuto, and Tim McKernan as we uncover the most outrageous historical moments and mind-blowing conspiracies you won't believe actually happened. Tune into Stupiracy for your weekly dose of historical absurdity. Available wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, history is dumb, but laughing at it is smart.
So all you got was a lousy one-word answer. No.
Yeah, it was a little disappointing because yesterday we're referring to a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Twins game is dawdling along already. They've been playing for 40 minutes and they're in the top of the first and they're the bottom of the first. And I looked out and we've had more wonderful days this summer than I can ever recall. Mm-hmm. Maybe 1980 when we had a full-blown, 88 when we had a full-blown drought,
right?
Which was wonderful.
You're pro drought. You're pro drought.
Pro drought. When I golfed, it was really pro drought because the lousy golf courses you played, you could get an extra 25 yards. But anyhow, I said I think I'll go up and she's up there in the den doing something. I'll go up and propose that we. Yeah. Drive around a nice body of water. I hadn't even chosen the water yet, but we have options.
Yep.
Yeah. We have plenty of options. I said, let's get the top down, drive around. We'll drive around water someplace, take a look, maybe pause and gaze at the water.
Sounds nice, yeah.
And then we'll go find a restaurant that's got a veranda.
Yeah.
On a beautiful day, and we'll have lunch and we'll
Great
talk
idea.
about life.
Yeah.
And the answer was no. And it wasn't complicated. It wasn't complicated by a long whether do I want to do this or not. Right. It was almost immediate no.
And
then there was nothing else.
So you sat there and waited for some type of explanation.
I think I deserved a phony excuse, don't you?
No,
I think so.
I just cut my finger off or something like that.
I got a headache.
Yeah,
give me the old headache.
Right.
That always works. But no, I got nothing. I just got no. I said, well, okay then. I'm going back downstairs and
see you later.
Watch more of this horse crap baseball game, and then I took my own drive, but it didn't have lunch.
It wasn't as romantic.
I just drove. I went to Costco. That's what I did. That was my romantic drive. I went to the Costco that's farther away, the one up in Maple Grove.
Okay, for a little drive.
Yeah.
I hear you're not the only one that this happened to this weekend.
Really?
That was just promptly turned down with something. Joe, did that happen to you?
I told her, throw on the suit and let's swim with the kids. She said, I don't like to get wet.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's
sounds good.
That's a good idea.
Joe turned around and walked away. He had his answer.
I got my answer.
Well, that's as you said.
I couldn't get into that game yesterday, like you. I just couldn't get into that game.
The good thing about it is, Joe, you could have gotten bored by the game. Then you could have read a nice short story, let's say, of a Malibu short story or something.
Yeah.
And come back and still saw 3 innings.
Boom.
So that would have been 3 hours and 35 minutes to score 9 runs. It was dreary to say the least. And where these Twins are getting these pitchers who couldn't start for the Miesville Mudhens, I have a big problem. Columbine, or whatever his name is, this lefty they brought in, my God, what was that crap?
That was some
He's got
slop.
the big looping curveball and can, I might have said this earlier, but he could hit you right between the eyes with a fastball, and you'd think a mosquito bit you. That was what the hell? Why are they recycling all these 32-year-old guys who are 6-year minor league free agents that have no life in their arms? Get me up. Everybody else is bringing up their kids who can throw hard, and these guys got all these guys throwing 86 miles an hour coming out of the bullpen. And I don't know what they're doing. They're lucky to. They now go to Cleveland, and Cleveland, two of their best pitchers were sent to the minor leagues because they broke quarantine and gave them and they still have better starting pitching than the Twins do. So I don't know. But
Golf wasn't any fun either when you win by 11 shots.
You know what's not any fun? Golf course where somebody can shoot 30 under. Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute.
What the hell?
I want to play that one.
How did they find this golf course to hold the Northern Trust? They had all those New York area golf courses they played on. The one on the east on the river there between down where you can see Manhattan right across your right shoulder.
Liberty.
Why aren't they playing there? What are they playing this piece of crap for?
I don't know.
I mean, every time you look at somebody who's putting for an eagle, 30 under. It's a joke. Mm-hmm. It was, Dustin Johnson played out here a month ago, right?
Right.
Shot 80 in the first round, said he had a bad back and went home.
I don't think his heart was in it.
I don't think it was either. A month later, he's 30 under. Mm-hmm. I want to know who his back doctor was in case I ever have a bad back.
A good one.
He is. I do think, all in all, he's the most talented guy out there because he can putt, and Rory can't putt. Mm-hmm. But I think when he's playing good and he's interested and he's not having problems with Paulina, he's the most talented guy still, don't you think?
Maybe she's the back doctor, Paulina.
Oh, yes.
That'd be a very...
To this day, I still wonder about the fall he took falling down the steps at the rented house at Augusta.
Yeah,
Gifted athlete like that, yeah, you got to be able to handle it.
He missed damn near a year, and allegedly because of a cocaine problem, right?
Yeah.
There's that too.
He never admitted it, but I don't know. But I do think that much like Ernie Els, he's
I know what you're going to say.
Not bothered by a cluttered mind, right?
Not troubled by thoughts.
Yes, right. He can blow. He should have won 3, right? He had a since the restart. Mm-hmm. He's won 2, but he had another one where he kind of just played like a bum on Sunday, right? Or one of those, and he's a talented guy. But you're right; it's hard to watch. You know what the greatest fall in American sports was yesterday, though? The Indy 500, Joe.
Yeah, I didn't see a minute of it.
Well, it was 10 o'clock at night before I realized I didn't know who won.
Yeah.
It suddenly occurred to me that Kenny had mentioned it was being held this weekend. And now they did it without crowds, and obviously. But Chris Long wasn't even there. The Long family couldn't go
this year.
Well, they didn't have fans.
I suppose, yeah.
So, but the Japanese lad, Sato, won it again, but I didn't know that till 10 p.m. last night. And even when we were youth, Joe, even when we had no interest in auto racing, we always checked on the Indy 500.
Oh, it was like the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah,
it was one of the big times.
Yeah,
national
Army-Navy game. It was like the Army-Navy game.
Yes.
And it would be on radio, which is the only race that anybody ever had on radio. And I always liked the radio, as I said. Penske comes in a turn, and now we're over to the other turn. And, here comes Mario Andretti. Hey! Now down to turn 4. Here they come. Huh? What's happening?
Yeah.
Come again?
They were always hollering.
It was like Steve Cannon doing a hockey game.
They're going 210. It's
the red car passes the yellow car.
The first time I covered it, I had covered a few stock races by that, a few stock car races, a couple of Daytonas, and the first time I covered it, it was incredible to me how much faster they went than the stock cars, because they'd come by and I couldn't tell who was who. Just all you saw was the flash of color, and this is sitting on the 50-yard line in the press box, and they go whoosh. It is incredible.
How are Indy cars different than Formula One cars? They're damn near the same, aren't
yeah,
they?
they are. I just
Where's
don't
Kenny
think they're
when you
quite
need
as
him?
they're not quite as powerful. I don't think. I think there are some limits on them. Whereas Formula One, they can build their own jet airplane. I think that they want to. So, yeah, and but you don't see the Formula Ones going around in circles like these guys do.
No,
you know?
what was Jim Murray's great line about the Indy 500?
Gentlemen, start your coffins.
Yeah, something
Because
like
they'd
that.
been killing guys.
Wow.
They were killing guy about one or either in practice or, I've told this story before, something that we've never said on this.
Well, Formula One used to bump off a couple of races.
I remember the great Charlie Hallman showing me this photo out of one of the auto magazines of the top 15. I don't know if it was Formula One, but it was your drivers in auto racing from like 10 years earlier. And there were 15 guys, Revson and Donahue and all these guys. 11 of them had died.
Isn't that something?
11 out of the 15 had died. Yeah. I mean, I looked up the Brainerd thing last summer, and in their early years, Donahue won a Trans Am, Revson won a Can-Am, and some French guy won a Can-Am when they had their first 3-4 years, and the 3 years in a row, that guy died, within a year or two afterwards. They got killed, the guy who won the race up there. They were killing them left and right, man, back then. That was part of the racing. The first time I ever met Don Riley, talking to St. John's, banquet, the St. John's athletic banquet in the spring. May of they won the national championship, so it had to be May of '66. Their football team, and that's when Don's telling them about. He goes to the Indy 500, and there's Eddie Sachs laying on the, burning to death on the track down at the far end, and that's what makes sports great. Remember that story?
Yeah.
I'm in the Chicago Stadium, and Gordie Howe slashes Leo Fontaine in his ear. He's skating off with his ear in his hand, and that's what makes sports great.
Yeah.
And I said, He was, he liked those gritty sports, he did.
Yeah. Where have we moved on to with the club? We're off to Cleveland?
We're off to Cleveland, and Cleveland has, they don't score many runs, but they have the best pitching in all of baseball. So even with Clevenger and Zach Plesac being banished to their reserve squad, what do we call those teams? The B squad.
It's not the taxi squad, is it?
The junior. They don't call it that. They got another word for them.
Okay.
But the junior varsity, basically, they sent them both out there because Plesac was caught coming back, I think, in Chicago from being out with friends, breaking their quarantine in the hotel. And then Clevenger was with him, didn't fess up, and flew back to Cleveland with him. He's that long-haired guy.
Yeah.
And so when they found out he did that, they had a team meeting in which Oliver Perez got up, one of their veteran pitchers, and said, I'm leaving right now if you don't do something about these guys. I don't want them around. So they sent them out for 10 days. But one reason being they have Carlos Carrasco, who had discovered to have leukemia last year and went through treatment for it. And obviously he's one of their pitchers and has immune system, obviously, situation. And the Latin guys were the ones the Hispanic guys are the ones who were really upset because Carrasco was one of their guys, and these guys are.
Well, and Francona had cancer issues too, didn't he?
I don't know what he's got. He hasn't managed for a couple of weeks. He's got stomach issue of some kind. I don't know what his problem is. They haven't really told us, but it appears to be more serious than what they're trying to tell us anyway.
What's the deal with the Vikings? It turns out they were getting false positive tests.
Well, they're not sure they're false positives, but the NFL has been getting a boatload of the NFL had 77 positives that I think this one outfit they've been sending their samples to 3 or 4 different labs, and surprisingly, the one out in New Jersey is sending back. Everybody is positive, and a lot of them then aren't really positive.
Well, I guess that's good news.
What's this story? Wisconsin lieutenant governor.
Oh yeah, we had a police shooting in Kenosha over the weekend.
What about the lieutenant governor?
The lieutenant governor. Oh.
They're just chiming
there's
in
a
on.
coal in there. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Kenosha. Okay, I missed that one. I didn't see the coal.
You thought the lieutenant governor was shot.
I thought the lieutenant governor shot somebody.
Who
7
put the
times.
question mark in the teleprompter?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Will Ferrell, right? Was that Will Ferrell?
No, that was your guy that just passed away. Help me, Fred Willard.
Oh, Fred Willard.
Fred
Yeah,
Willard.
Ron Burgundy.
the most underrated funny man in American history.
I know you didn't watch it, but he was Modern Family. He was extremely.
He was really
he was the
good.
I can
father-in-law.
imagine that.
His dry wit, it flowed perfectly.
I was just offended by what light we made of gay humor in that, so I couldn't watch it.
It just offended
Unlike
you.
Tom Brenneman, I would have been. I bet Tom Brenneman. I bet he wasn't offended by the gay humor, but I was.
Probably.
I was offended by the
Did
gay
Brenneman
humor.
lose his job?
He has been suspended by the Reds and told by Fox, right,
Yes.
that he will not be working their football games this year.
Okay, but time out. Did you hear his apology on the air?
Oh yes, with the
His
home run
heartfelt.
call in the
I'm
middle.
really sorry. Oh, it's a high fly ball.
Reavers had some fun with that, and
good.
And that irritated some people. But anyway, you know that he's had his supporters out there in Cincinnati. But yeah, that was the worst. That was the worst. That was the worst. You know, the apology that he also included the anyone who I've offended in there,
Which is the
but to
That's the
interrupt-
non-apology
But to
apology.
interrupt a non-apology with a home run call really makes it a non-apology apology, doesn't it?
But the first thought I had was, Pat, my God, this is Brockmire.
Yes,
The opening
yes,
scene
yes,
of Brockmire.
it is,
That's the
right.
first thought I had.
Yes, right.
You know, not that I'm the best in the business, the most hardworking producer that's ever been.
No,
but I would like to pat myself on the back.
Don't tell me that. You'll give me chest
I would
pains.
like
I'll
to-
be shocked.
I would like to pat myself on the back, and not that you guys would say anything like Brenneman said at all, but
No, of course not.
During any break, I would always pull you guys all the way down
all the
because
way
I never
down.
trusted you guys turning off your own mics, so as to never heard any
I'd say
off-air
Joe
portion.
was much more consistent in turning off his mic than I was.
He was like a robot. The
Yes, yeah,
monkey,
would do it.
the light went off, the monkey hit the button.
Wait, is
You
that
might have saved me once or twice.
Yes.
that's a sturdy limb you're standing on, saying Joe might have been a little more consistent with the mic?
Yes.
I'm not leaving any mic on.
than I was. Yeah, I do that once in a while.
Once in a while, yeah.
Well, the biggest save for Patrick was when he was commenting about watching the LPGA.
Yes, we saved him on that occasion. That is true. But then
That's
we
a
also
long time ago.
But then we also save the audio for our own personal
Yes, we
amusement.
listen to it every once in a while off the air.
when we need a good pick-me-up.
Hey,
Hit it in the water.
Hey, get rid of that tape, will you? Get rid of that tape.
You got it. No
roll it
problem.
back, Larry.
So I got a topic today.
All right, we're
Okay.
halfway into the show. Let's
Here
go.
we go.
What do you got today? Let's
Now
start
this
with
is
Masks.
sports link.
Masks.
Masks.
So I'm driving today, not driving today. I'm walking down the hallway today
here
with
at
my
the
mask
building.
on here at Hubbard, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I can't stop it. I got a cough, right?
Right.
So
It's
I
coming.
cough. I got stuff in my hands. I cough. So basically, with this mask, and you cough, you're making sure you capture.
Yes.
your
Yeah, you
own-
don't want droplets to
So
to fly,
you
become
capture
airborne.
your own droplets and then kick them back into your
Right.
mouth.
Let's
right?
go here.
So this can't be good for you, right?
Right.
In case the cough was going to naturally expel them
Right.
out into the atmosphere,
Right.
you made sure you captured them and have them come back in, right?
Pat, this is uncanny. I said this an hour ago.
Yeah.
I had to wear one for an hour yesterday, indoor deal.
Oh.
And it struck me. This is antithetical to good health. I'm breathing the same air
Yes.
over and over again.
Yes.
What if I was sick?
Yes, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, I think what you should do, Joe, you should tell Pat the story you read on GL about the governor of Maine.
Oh, Pat, the governor of Maine, Jane somebody,
Mm-hmm.
is ordering restaurant workers to wear those those lampshades that the dogs have to wear when they come back
I'm
from the
running into the
hospital?
lampshades.
Yeah.
Boy, if you think you look stupid with a mask, you should see. You gotta look in the mirror and see how stupid you look with the
cone of shame.
like the firefighter out. And, yeah, you really look stupid. In fact, I knew this one gal. I could tell I was in a store. And I could tell she had a good sense of humor. And I said, boy, you guys really look stupid in those things. But anyway.
She was probably proud.
Anyway, so yes, what did the mayor? She's ordered him to wear those, huh?
Yeah, you got to wear the dog thing, the dog mask collar.
The cone.
And,
the
and
upside
why
down
are they
cone.
safer?
I guess it forces your air up instead of down. I have no idea. I think we're. I gotta.
That's my wife got the Amazon ones, the little blue ones. You get about 700 of them for $20. I got a hunch the lampshades are a little more expensive than that, right?
Probably. Yeah, I would guess.
I got to think they're running you $25
well,
a piece.
wait a minute. Maybe what we could do, Joe, get them custom ordered. We could put, the GL podcast.
Your
or
ad
whatever.
here.
Yeah, absolutely.
But here's the other deal. If you cough inside that one, then you got her sticking on a window, right? Or basically, and so you got the germ sticking on the window then. And so what are you supposed to do? Wipe that off? Kill? How do you kill this stuff? That's what I want to know.
I got a video from a guy who said, always wear a mask at Menards. And it's a guy following a young woman who's very, very attractive, who quite clearly is wearing nothing up top. And that becomes terribly evident because the shirt she has on allows you to see everything.
Huh.
But she is wearing a mask.
Well, that's okay. Orville would have liked to have been there for that one.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, the lamp. Where am I seeing those?
On a dog.
No, but the one of the groceries, not Barley's doesn't have them. I don't know who does. Somebody I was in some store the
Costco?
other day. Costco. Yes, somebody I saw
Costco
some
in
of those
Maple
in
Grove?
Costco. Some of them in Costco had them.
The one after you got noped, you went to
No,
Costco
yeah, I
in
went
Maple
to
Grove.
Costco. Went to Costco, right? But I got out of Costco for under $100 first time in my life.
Oh, wow. Did you get any
Are you a
TV?
member?
Oh, heavens, yes.
Of what?
Yeah, toilet paper, baby.
Yeah.
That's where you get your toilet paper.
And a big can of tomato paste or soup or something like that.
Yes.
What was
Feed
the
an army.
Rook, what was the store Joe was at when he was asked that question?
He was at the Whole Foods or the no, it was the one on it was
Right
the one,
on Randolph and Fairview.
Yeah,
it a
Randolph and
co-op?
Fairview. It was a
was
co-op.
some kind
it
of
was
co-op.
Mississippi Co-op, and he went there to go get some milk. He puts the milk on the conveyor belt, and the lady says, "Are you a member?" Joe looks around and says, "Of what?"
So you couldn't even buy it?
No, they turned me away. I wasn't a member.
See you later, you Republican POS.
Yeah, if there's a co-op in your neighborhood, there's a damn good chance you're in a DFL precinct.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say.
You're going to
That's
find
it.
some unshoveled walks.
Yeah.
Well, plus,
That's
they didn't even have real milk. They just had fake milk,
Yeah.
rice milk, or
Right,
duck
almond
milk,
milk.
or whatever the hell it
That's
is.
my problem with Whole Foods. There's just way too much healthy crap.
I'm
in there.
married to a woman that's big on the almond milk in our house, to the point now where the boys don't even drink the regular cow milk. They go straight for the almond milk.
Ugh.
Yeah.
When you become aged adults like us,
How do you have milk and almond?
you buy the milk. And she said, the bride says, "Hey, get milk when you're going to the store."
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
sure.
2 weeks later, you pour it out.
Yep. And,
You
it's-
know.
and it comes out
unless,
chunk.
Unless she's decided to have some cereal
Right.
during the week.
Yeah.
Never
Doing that-
never drink a glass of milk. Never drink.
Always smell it. Always test it before.
Well, you look at it. It says it's okay. This turned to cheese, so we'll
August
throw it out,
12th.
man.
Right.
Throw out a lot of. You know what else I always throw out? Coleslaw.
Yeah,
Well,
coleslaw. The first
Whenever
day,
you have a backyard party,
Yep.
hey, get coleslaw. You get coleslaw a month later, throw it out.
Yep.
A week later,
I would
throw
agree
it
with
out.
you. It's only good that first night,
Well,
maybe the
no,
second day.
It's never good.
Oh, no,
Coleslaw's
you can't beat a good slaw. I like a good
Coleslaw's
slaw.
the worst food product in
That
history.
cabbage keeps you from getting the COVID. That's what I read.
I thought that was Diet Coke.
That's what I
No,
thought. Too.
Diet Coke. No, yours is Diet Coke. Mine's coleslaw.
See, my dad doesn't like coleslaw to the point where he calls it silage. That's what he
I
calls
might
it.
steal that. I might steal that.
Well, you
I-
obviously have never had good coleslaw.
Well, my coleslaw hatred goes back to church dinners in the 50s. The Lutherans and the Catholic, I told you, marketing purposes, we used to have to go in the fall, do double headers, to make sure we went to all the church dinners, Lutheran and Catholic. And
Well, Richard was working the room.
Yeah, and some towns we didn't have to go to the Lutherans because we had no shot, But if there was a Catholic church dinner and within 25 miles of Fulda, we had to be there. And you had the same thing at every one of them, including coleslaw. There was always coleslaw.
All right, I'm going to test your memory, Mr. Royce. Joe might even get this one, too. This was sent to us by Eric. Play this for the boys if you'd like. This date in 1981, do you remember what happened on this day? August 24th, 1981.
Kent Herbeck got called
Look
up
at
to the
that guy!
Kent Herbeck got called up to the major leagues and hit a home run
in Yankee Stadium.
to win the game for the Twins.
Look
the
at
only
you.
home run he hit in 81, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that his first at bat?
Nope. But,
Oh, but it was his
later
first
in the
game.
I think it
Yeah.
put them ahead. I think it
Yep.
was the winning run.
Wow.
I've
do
told
remember
you about that story that I was writing columns for the Dispatch then.
Yeah.
Afternoon column, and I decided I had to write. I was in the above the Cheesecake Factory, right?
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
the palatial post-divorce apartment in the Cheesecake above the Cheesecake Factory, and I said, and I hadn't gotten into the gin yet, so I figured I got to write a Herbeck column for tomorrow, and that was back when you could look in the phone book and get a number, right?
Right.
So I found Ed and Tina Herbeck, and I said, how many Herbecks can there be?
Right.
Right.
So I called, and Tina answered, and she was thrilled, and everything was great, and she was a great gal. And I said, put your husband on the phone. So she put Ed on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And he was slurring all his words, and I thought, Ed's had a few pops.
Yeah.
He's celebrating.
Right.
And so I wrote the column, and I had a line in there about Ed celebrating, and then I said,
Doesn't feel
I
right.
think I'll take it out.
Were you smart?
Just as a caution.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it wasn't the days of email or anything like that, but of course, Ed, later we found out maybe a couple weeks later that he had ALS. So.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that happened, right? But I'll never forget when Herbie hit the, I think it was a grand slam, and they didn't have the bag up yet, right?
Right.
The next year, and he hit it, and it smashed into those
The football
Yeah,
seats?
the
football
blue.
bent over
Yeah.
seats, and Ed was sitting in front of the press box, and he was.
He was hurting, yeah.
Yeah, he was, but they got him out. He rose up and joined in the standing ovation
wow.
for
That's cool.
that. So
That's cool.
His wife kind of helped him up, and the other family members helped him up, and he applauded. And he didn't last much longer. He died that summer.
Wow.
But
That was Aunt Peggy or the First Fridays that were talking to you when they said, you might want to just
yeah,
take that line out. Yeah.
That's right.
Well,
Boy, that Herbie though, he was Ted Williams. He was the splendid splinter back then, man. Remember Herbie when he was like 225?
Oh.
Yeah,
He was a blade.
yeah, he was like 210 maybe when he was, 6'5". Had the best swing ever. I remember he hit two in that spring in '82. He hit two in the orange trees in Winter Haven. They had the orange grove out behind the right center field fence. Hit two. Man, that was a pretty swing.
Was the first season in the Dome 81 or 82?
81 was
Last
81
year at
was
the
the
Met.
strike year, and the last year at Met Stadium, and the season was. That was not when they split. Was that when they split? The
81
season?
was the split season.
Split season,
Yeah.
yeah. And the Twins were contenders in the second half, which was the biggest joke of all time. They were terrible, but they called up Herbie, and then they called up Loudner about the same time, and then Gaetti came up in September, and we started to see the future there after.
So after that
the
last
horrible
game,
team.
was that when you guys were commenting when they were hacking off the seats and whatnot?
No,
Was
that
No,
was
that was
football.
football.
Oh,
That was
the Vikings game.
Vikings.
Okay, okay.
December. That was a great. Joe had
I can
a great
still hear the
column.
noise.
You had a great column about the construction project that was
Right.
taking place. Because we went down. I don't know if you went downstairs. I went downstairs to the locker room and came back up and got off the elevator, and all you could hear was pounding. It was
Right.
like being downtown next to building one of these 20-story buildings.
Hell, they were taking the flagpole. They were
Oh,
taking
yeah.
rows of seats and railings.
Joe, who did you see? Was it the guy with the sledgehammer?
Yeah, I
there
saw
was-
a guy with a
Yeah,
sledgehammer.
guy big.
What do you need?
But it was a sledge. But it wasn't your nice small sledgehammer. It had the great big
Industrial?
head on it. Had the wooden head on it the size of your head.
Now think of that a minute. How in the hell did he get it in there?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Remember, Klobuchar wrote a column saying they're going to be bringing all the instruments of destruction they were
Yeah.
bringing, and then he had to write. I think they suspended him for a week or something because it happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, as in like he encouraged it?
Well, yeah. It
Planted
was-
the seeds.
He wrote a column thinking it was funny, and it was kind of funny, but it ended up that's what happened.
Right.
Remember we talked about it, obviously, when we started doing radio. And we'd been fired by 80. Well, no, wait, we were on the air, right? 81, because we came on and we'd been fired by that. I think we'd been fired by 80. I think we got fired in the spring of 81, right? No, 82. We were on the air. And remember, we had people calling in telling us what they woke up with in their lawn the next
Right,
morning.
right.
One guy telling us about he had like a big piece of goalpost in his
Right.
yard, and they were waking up and they all had sod. Everybody went
What
down.
did you bring home?
There's
Everyone
still
went
sod
down
in a
and
lot of refrigerators, I bet. There's still sod.
dug out the sod, and of course by that time of year at Met Stadium, the sod amounted to you needed a drill to get the sod out by that.
That had
time.
to be December, Pat.
Oh, it was, yeah, December 21st.
Who were they playing? Were they playing Kansas City?
I think maybe it was.
Yeah.
It was. They didn't. 81. I don't think they made the. Oh, did they make? I don't think they made the playoffs that year. So I think that was the end of it. Yeah, it was the end of it. A regular season game. So. Yeah, it was beautiful. It was fantastic.
I love that story.
people driving out of there with crap, they just anything they could get their hands on. Because when the guy broke the seats, it wasn't like they came out smoothly. They have a piece of a seat.
December 20th of 1981, the Vikings lost to the Kansas City Chiefs 10-6.
What'd they end up that year?
That year, let me see if I can find the entire
About 8-8.
results
That was
here.
Bud. That was sort of the
I'll look, Reese.
Bud's the downfall of Bud there. He only, he quit 2 years later and then came back.
Dark
and
Star called in and
came
told
back
you guys.
and then 85. No,
Oh, was
80,
it 85? Okay.
83, Sid, they flew Sid out to Hawaii to tell Max, and Bud, Lynn, and Sid were flying out to tell Max, and Sid got off the plane in L.A. because he thought it'd be bad taste for him to be out there when the news was broken to Max.
I have a completely different question.
They
Yeah.
were 7-9 that year.
Okay.
7-9.
No playoff.
Why do boaters apparently uniformly support Trump? I'm looking at a story Kelsey just sent me from Bismarck, North Dakota. For over an hour, an uninterrupted stream of boats passed between the Memorial Bridge and Bismarck, advancing at idle speeds up the Missouri River, blaring country radio hits like Proud to Be an American and Old Town Road, and they all had Trump 2020 flags. I was on the Fox chain last week.
Yes.
There were American flags with Trump's face superimposed on them.
Well, it tells us this.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. I didn't.
Most voters are white people. That's what it tells us.
And they have the flotillas down in Palm Beach too, going up and down the
You
intercoastal.
should see Lake Minnetonka.
If you're a believer You're a real believer. That's one of the things.
But a lot of those
Minnetonka probably has.
A lot of those kids are in their 20s.
A lot of Minnetonkas, they got some youth that's probably are going to vote the other way.
Well, the other part of it too, Joe, is let's say you are a Biden-Harris supporter come November. There's not really a flag to put at the end of your boat right,
what are you
now.
Put?
There's no inventory.
No, I got that.
Okay.
But it's invariably I discover all these pictures of boat parades, and they're all Trump people.
What do you think of the boys saying buy Chinese tires?
No, I don't like that.
Put Goodyear out of business. They won't
I
let
bet you'll be glued to this convention starting tonight, huh?
Me? Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't watch any of the other one. I mean,
Neither did I.
There's nothing that can happen that's going to change my mind, so there was nothing for me to watch, you know. The only thing I'll really watch for sure is Kamala kick the crap out of Pence. I'll watch that one because she's mean.
Yeah, she is.
I like her being mean.
I like it when she's mean. Would she have said yes or no to a nice, eloquent car ride with the significant other to go look at various things like you proposed yesterday, Pat?
I would have put in a written request. I wouldn't have had the guts to ask it directly.
Right.
Guts is the right word.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. You know what I saw the other day that really, I might have mentioned this before, but it's really sad. You remember Denise Richards?
Sure. Charlie Sheen's ex-wife.
Yeah, Charlie Sheen's ex-wife. Spectacular actress. Just was great in Wild Things. Right?
I agree with that.
She was,
yeah,
it was a sterling performance.
Should have won an Oscar.
I mean, unlike the other gal, Neve Campbell, she wasn't afraid to lure the main. Who was the guy?
I don't know.
Who was the guy?
I don't know.
Who was the guy they were trying? The older
bad
teacher,
guy.
the scumbag.
Kevin Bacon? Was it Kevin Bacon?
I don't know. No, he was the cop.
Oh,
trying
that's
to
right.
figure it out. Was it Matt Dillon?
Might be Matt Dillon.
Matt Dillon. Anyway, she's on a housewife show.
What?
She's on the Housewives of someplace.
Oh, yeah. It might be Orange County.
Yeah.
Or, I think so.
How the mighty have fallen. And I was watching.
Not what I thought you were going to say.
And
me too.
I was up there, and the wife was watching it, so I had to watch. And she's phoning up some argument about being how she's offended, you know, like you have to, so they can all scream at each other. And I'm saying, boy, this is sad. This one great actress has now got to be on Desperate Housewives of someplace out, you know, Santa Monica
yes,
or
whatever
someplace.
it is.
In an effort to look up who that teacher was, I did Google Wild Things
Yes,
movie.
that's
and
good.
of course, the trailer comes up, and I'll be saving that one
Yeah.
for later.
But who
I
was
haven't
it?
seen
Matt
that
Dillon?
movie.
Yeah, it was Matt Dillon. You're right.
I haven't seen Wild Things.
It's one you can do some fast forwarding in. You know, you don't have to stick around
Well,
for plot development.
Why am I confusing that with something called Something Wild Thing?
Oh no, Something Wild is a completely different.
That was
very
Ray
different.
Liotta was the bad guy, and
Ray
Joe-
Liotta
Joe
was, that
Wild-
was actually a good movie.
yeah, it was.
Joe, the movie Wild Things came in, I think, mid to late 90s, and that was one of those movies where if you owned it on VHS as a college kid, it pretty much got wore out, you know, about halfway through.
And then they had at least 2 sequels. I didn't watch them, but I gotta think the plot pretty much stayed the same.
I would guess,
And I only the naked girls changed, right? The plot stayed the same.
the
Boy.
director saying, we need a couple of new naked girls. in this
Yes,
movie."
right. Yeah.
So there were a lot of what we used to call good parts.
Yes, there
Yes.
were.
Yeah,
Yeah, back
right.
when you could say
Remember
that.
it was
Back when you could say
remember
that.
it was parts, as Pat said with the remote. Get back to the parts.
Might have to watch that for old time's sake, just
my-
because of poor Denise making the plunge.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That
Poor
was terrible,
Denise.
really. Plus, she had to be married to that goofball for a while.
Oh. I
Charlie.
wonder if he's out of money. Is that why she's got to do this? Is Charlie broke?
Well,
they're long
they're long
separated.
divorced.
Right, I know that, but he's gotta
maybe
be
he's
paying
not
her.
making
Oh.
maybe he's not making his alimony payments
yeah.
or something. I don't know. What's with movie theaters? Are we open again?
AMC is opening with social distancing. So the local AMC chain has said they're going to open. I don't know if they're going to open
but they
all of
haven't
them.
opened yet?
They're going to open Invergrove Heights. I know that, and that's a huge one. That's highly populated, and I don't know what the list of the others, but they're going to have like every other. They're going to have signs
I've
there.
driven by my Willow Creek one, which is, I don't know, I think it was independently owned, but it was an Imagine, and I can't ever tell if they're open or not.
I
I
haven't
need
seen
one
the
that
man
has
schedule.
windows. I need a theater that you can open the windows.
Okay.
Well, if you went to a theater in Maine, you could wear your dog cone.
I'd have to wear my dog
Right.
cone of
Then
shame.
you can't see the movie, and you're trying to, what the hell?
Hey, how about what's happening in the Gulf here? I don't think we're going to get it in Fort Myers, but we got two of them that might run into each other.
Right. 2 hurricanes.
That would cause some poor Louisiana, man.
Well, New Orleans might be going under again.
Yes, and if they get 2 of them, wow, unbelievable.
Well, it should have never been built there. It's below sea level.
Yeah, but they didn't think about that in 1623.
I know.
When the Frenchmen stopped there and said, "Yeah, let's try this."
This is kinda nice.
What the hell? I don't want to go any further up this bog. For God's sake, let's just stop right here. You know.
So it's Laura and Marco. Hurricane Laura or Tropical Storm Laura, and then Marco are the two.
My guy Hans sent out a bulletin as to what precautions he was going to take if it looked like it was going to hit. You know, he's the guy that goes in and sees if it's still in one piece, and then he sent it out yesterday saying, "No, it's not gonna. It's going south, so we're good."
You don't need me to run down there and check on it for you?
No, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
When are you next going to make a visit to the estate?
I'm thinking we got to get rid of this. We got to get rid of this thing first. I'm not heading down there until the Mayo Clinic does its job. I'm very disappointed in them. They were my hope. I thought they were going to get this figured out.
You thought you'd have just stick a pin in it and a little
I thought they'd have
vaccine.
Yeah. And then you're from Minnesota. We got to be first. Old guys from Minnesota got to be first in line, don't we? If the Mayo Clinic, Mayo Clinic defended.
Have you been on a plane since this?
No.
Either have I.
I don't know if
People are flying.
at least,
People are going to Denver.
Yes, but at least all of our airlines are making sure that middle seat's empty, unless somebody
Pretty
wants to
much.
buy it.
Exactly. That's the only thing holding them back is. But there are. I mean, some of the planes are only there's 50 people
Joe,
on there.
you can fly to Fort Myers now, and they won't even go down the aisle and give you a Diet Coke. You got to bring your own
You got
stuff.
to bring your own
apparently.
stuff. Yeah.
So wait a minute. The middle seat guy or gal can opt in, but what if you're one of the outside people that didn't want someone next to you?
But that's the biggest problem. The people that are on the window and the aisle seats are the biggest complainers when there's somebody in the middle seat.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, you're on an airplane where everybody's packed in like sardines to begin with, and you're at the airport. How can you really complain? That foot and a half.
Because you're paying the least amount of money possibly you can, most people.
Right.
And
It's
then they
affordable, right?
then they want to pretend like they're flying private.
Right.
It doesn't work
Right.
that way.
It doesn't work that way.
Yes,
and I can
that's
tell everybody, if you're going to LAX, if you're going to Baltimore, at least 2 hours before. People show up 15
Really?
minutes prior to.
Joe, do you remember the wonders of flight when you first covered sports before they deregulated airlines?
I have
and
such
nobody
pleasant
could
memories.
afford to fly. It was fantastic.
Sunday
It was like-
newspaper, cup of coffee, and smoking a
Yeah,
heater.
and you'd get on the Braniff out of Chicago, out of Kansas City. They'd have like an 11:30 flight because they didn't. There'd be like 23 of you. It was
Right.
great, man.
Right.
Nobody, and the idea that people would fly to Orlando to watch the Twins play, there was like. You knew the people that came down to watch spring training by name.
Right.
You know, there were
How you doing,
40
Phil?
of them. Nobody could afford to fly. It was $600 back then. You know, it was great.
I flew
'Cause
on
the
a lot of
paper
empty
paid for it.
planes.
Huh?
I flew on a lot of empty planes.
Oh, it was great.
Did you bring the Pinto down to
One
Fort
year, I
Myers?
took the deluxe Pinto down to Fort Myers.
Full
How
of
was
pots
that
and pans
journey?
and
Would you,
Like
did you
a
make
gypsy.
everybody sleep in the car? That was just you and the bride?
Just me.
Oh, okay.
he
The
wouldn't
rest of
taken
them
her.
Flew
Did you-
down.
He
Did you
asked her
make
if she wanted to go. She said, nope.
Nope.
Without explanation. That's
Right.
right. No. Hey, so did you did you fly it so you didn't have to stay anywhere, or did you stop someplace?
No, that was the year I had to live down there for about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So I drove down.
Yeah, but did you drive 1,700 miles without stopping?
Oh, God, no. I stayed overnight
Okay,
someplace.
good.
I stayed overnight in Nashville, I think.
Okay.
I had cousins there.
No, don't. It's not that easy. He just says, "Oh, I just picked a spot."
Yeah.
He probably went over to find out what motel had this, what hotel, how high up am I? You're on the second floor. I can't be on the second floor at a
and
motel.
how cheap is it? This
No, I
is the
stayed
man.
with family members in Nashville.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think I might
bet
have
they
only
love
been
that.
one night on the road.
Oh, yeah. That's you could, cut it. Orlando isn't quite as far as Fort Myers. You could cut her up into 2 800-mile
So
humps.
when you made the trip all the way from the Twin Cities to Florida, when you got, 5 minutes from your destination in Florida, did you get a speeding ticket?
Nope.
Oh,
Yeah, I got that.
All the way.
I
He's
told you
100
that.
yards away.
Honey,
I told you
no, it
the
was
story
a
of the
mile.
time. I told you the story of the time I had to take a granddaughter to Chicago to surprise her cousin for her birthday, and so the granddaughter's 8 or 9,
Mm-hmm.
and for some reason we also had to deliver a crib to this place that I was going. So in the bed of the pickup truck was a crib, and then I got this little kid in the car. And if I ever had to stop and go to the can, I'd say, "All right, you got to come in with me." And so there's a truck parked in front of the place with a crib in the back, and here's me walking in with a little girl, and I'm saying
You
to the
felt people
cashier,
might be suspicious.
"Keep your eye on her for a minute, will you please?" You go, "Yeah," and then we get back in the car and go. Well, the whole time going down, I kept saying, "Tell me when you have to go to the bathroom, honey. Tell me when you have to go to the bathroom." "No, I don't have to go. I'm good. 5 minutes from their house.
oh no.
We got to stop at a Pizza Hut because she finally decided she had to go.
I gotta go.
5 more minutes, you could have made it.
What'd you get at Pizza Hut?
Nothing. I had to guard the door.
I bet that was the first time you were ever in a Pizza Hut.
Probably.
Is that
Haven't
like
been
the,
in one since.
the time you and Rook were coming to a live remote and Rook looked at the overhead sign and said, "You want to grab a couple of fish sandwiches on our way?"
No, I'm not eating
I
that.
wouldn't eat those bullhead sandwiches if you were the.
I'm very proud of my 11-year-old granddaughter. At age 11, she has switched from soccer to softball.
All right.
Yeah, healthy
All right.
switch, huh?
She watched her brother play baseball. She wants to be in a sport where she can decide her own fate more easily than
Yes.
Soccer's just a lot of running around.
A lot of running around, hoping you're playing with a Lagos, right?
Right, exactly.
Yes.
When I played with them, don't pass the ball to me. Don't pass the ball to me.
You didn't have to worry about it.
No.
You, as you said, you were a pylon.
Human pylon for Gerard and Manuel Lagos. Not a problem.
Pylon.
Hey, is Buzzy still with us? He's still with us.
Yes, I believe he's in the heart of St. Paul, a stone's
should
throw from the
They should
Grandview.
have themselves a big plaque of Buzzy at Allianz Stadium. Because
They should.
This whole thing is from the
He mentored from the
his start of the Thunder.
Yep.
It's the amateur team and then a pro team and then they became everything. And
He used to have a tournament at St. Paul Academy. It was a Memorial Day tournament where soccer teams came from across the country because they had several fields set up. And we, for some reason, we lived right on that corner there. And the Fort Rouge Soccer Club from Winnipeg, Canada, always parked their bus right outside our house. And so we started to welcome them every year. It was pizza parties, beers. It was just a huge party. And it was one of the funnest weekends of the year because it was soccer. Soccer was boring, but it was just a festive atmosphere.
yeah, well, it's they should remember Buzz as they're going along. That's for sure. I'd forgotten that I had to write something on soccer the other day, that they'd played 2004 and 5. They played in Griffin Stadium, his team.
I didn't even remember that.
Joe?
Yes.
So I have proposed that the facilities in which the pro soccer team is playing in the central Midway area of the Twin Cities has been upgraded in the last 15 years. From beautiful Griffin Stadium to this thing they have now. It's been a considerable upgrade.
I have yet to visit the pub. I can't wait to go.
it's,
The beer joint
tremendous.
they
Is
have
it
there.
open?
No, it hasn't been. No, nothing was open. They had no fans. It hasn't been open, but I was in there last year before the game and talking to the people. I think it might have been the opener. And they were in there, and they have these beer hall type tables in there, right? So you sit aside. They don't want to waste space. And these guys were I was talking to these 4 people, a couple, and then a couple of guys, and they had 4 beers, and then the guy signed the slip because the game was going to start. I said, "How much those beers cost you?" He says, "I don't know. Credit card. Who cares?" That's that's the youth of America. They'll pay that $13 for a beer because they don't care because they, it's on a credit card. What the hell? I got a job and it's on a credit card, and I'm going to go watch soccer. Even though the one guy had never seen a game, but the other guy had, so he dragged his buddy along.
I got to go to the bank.
Yep.
All right, you got to go.
See
See ya. They giving you money or you giving them money?
I got to switch from one thing to another thing.
Okay, all right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
All right.
See ya, Such.
Okay. All right.
Go GL podcast. Come on. You want me to do it, Josh?
Yes, that would be
like
fantastic.
Draw the people in. Let's go.
Which one should we do? The Deja Vu all over again?
Yeah, I
or
love
the,
that one. Seems like you already did that
I
one.
think the other one's a little more informative.
Okay.
This is Ricey for my guy, Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. I'll bet you don't know what's in your mutual fund or ETF. As I've said before, I don't even know what an ETF is.
Sure.
If you can't take my bet, meaning Josh, then you better call my friend, Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold, to find out. No, meaning me. Why? Because Josh frequently sees a common mistake with new clients in that they are allocated as high as 50% in impaired stocks. You may be asking, what the heck is an impaired stock? I have no idea, so that is why I work with Josh. Call Josh for your no-cost, no-obligation, 48-minute consultation to find out how to get the garbage out of your 401k or IRA. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, 952-925-5608.
That'll wrap up this Monday Night Sports Talk podcast. Check it out at PodMN on your smartphone and podmn.com on your computer. We'll catch you next time. Monday Night Sports Talk.